I just got this notification that was involving the whole sex cult called Nexium that involved, of course, Keith Raniere and Allison Mack. And if you don't know, this is how Keith Raniere looks right now. Now, the images I put up of him before were slightly older. He looked more clean in the face, but now he just looks raggedy. But this is how he looks now. This is the most recent image of Keith Raniere. As a matter of fact, the image is almost a week old. So this is taken last week. And the note is that the victims of his sex cult, or the ones who were sex slaves attached to the sex cult, are most likely going to testify against him during his trial. Now, his trial starts today, May 7th, 2019. His trial officially starts today. A lot of people were worried that he might actually get away with this. However, if they have his victims stand trial and testify against him, which I believe is actually going to happen, because why not? He could most likely go to jail for a very long time, and that's all we can hope that can happen. He, in my opinion, deserves a whole lot worse, honestly speaking. But we'll take what we can get. I'm going to go ahead and read this article. It says, former self-help guru Keith Raniere, and I don't know why they call him a self-help guru, because he, in my opinion, was far from that, goes on trial on Tuesday on charges of running a secretive New York sex cult that recruited female slaves who were then starved, branded with his initials, and blackmailed into having sex with him. Federal prosecutors have charged Raniere, age 58, with using his cult-like Nexium group, which claimed to offer members unique insights into life, as a front for crimes including sex trafficking, child pornography, and sexual exploitations of a minor. Several of his alleged slaves are expected to testify at U.S. District Court in Brooklyn. While prosecutors have not said who will take the stand, former Smallville actor Allison Mack and Seagram Liquors heiress Claire Bronfman have already pleaded guilty to playing supporting roles in the scheme. Jurors have been warned to expect disturbing testimony and evidence during a trial that could run 6 weeks. So that's about a month, pretty much, about a month and a half. Prosecutors tend to introduce explicit photographs of a 15-year-old girl alleged to have been one of Raniere's victims, seized from his computer hard drive. Now, I'm going to say this. If they can get that former gymnastics coach on what he did to those gymnasts, then this should be a shoo-in to get this guy, because he did a whole lot worse. And not to take away what that gym coach did, but he did a whole lot worse. I mean, think about it. Branding, that means taking an iron with your initials on it, sticking it into a hot solution, and putting it on somebody's body, and it's stuck there for the rest of their life. That means that these people not only had to go through the physical torture, but they're going to have to go through the mental torture and have to, look at that brand for the rest of their life. And even if they don't look at it, it's there. They're marked for life. It's not like it's a tattoo where they can go and get it laser removed. Mack and Bronfman are among 5 co-defendants, all women accused of involvement in Nexium, who pleaded guilty to various charges in March and April, leaving Raniere as the sole person to face trial. Remember, the last video I did was talking about Allison Mack and how they said she was going to testify against him. You tack on that plus the victims, this guy's going down. I hope that he doesn't walk away from this, but I have a strong feeling that he will not walk away from this, because everything is stacked against him to the point where I don't think that he can actually truly believe that he'll actually walk away from this. Now, Allison Mack definitely needs to serve some jail time. I know why she's doing this, and I know she took the plea deal, and the plea deal was for her to plead guilty and to testify against him in hopes that she gets a lesser sentence. She needs to go to jail too, as well as that liquor heiress, as well as anybody involved. But he deserves to serve the most jail time out of all of them, because after all, he was the ringleader. The television actress tearfully acknowledged in court that she had blackmailed 2 women into providing services for her and other Nexium members. Bronfman who provided key financial support for Nexium, pleaded guilty in April and agreed to forfeit $6 million. Raniere has pleaded not guilty to all charges, and that's where he fucked up. Mark Agnifilo, one of Raniere's lawyers, has said that his client's sexual encounters with women in the organization were consensual and denied child pornography and exploitation charges. Now, I know you want to defend your client and all of that, but even that lawyer knows what just came out of his mouth is a bunch of is a pit of lies. I mean, how do you explain the branding? That's mutilation right there. That's body mutilation right there. The trial caps a bizarre saga for Raniere, who was arrested in March 2018 after fleeing to Mexico with Bronfman. Nexium, which started under another name in 1998 and is pronounced Nexium, was based in Albany, New York, and at one time operated numerous centers across the United States, Canada, Central America, and Mexico. The organization marketed itself as a business providing educational tools, coaching, and trainings that would allow humanity to rise in its noble possibility. In 2015, prosecutors say Raniere established a sorority within Nexium known as DOS, an acronym for a Latin phrase that roughly translates to Master of the Obedient Female Companions. The subgroup included slaves who were expected to bend their wills to masters in a pyramid-like structure, with slaves expected in turn to recruit their own subordinates and Raniere standing alone at the top. The slaves were required to submit collateral to win acceptance that could then be used as blackmail material, such as nude photos, rights to their financial assets, or damaging information about friends and relatives. Basically, anything that would destroy them should the victims or the quote-unquote sex slaves get out and try to say anything. Like, this guy is a demon personified. Like, he is the definitive term of what a monster is. Like, this guy was literally holding them hostage every which way. He made sure that they didn't leave. Several women were branded with Raniere's initials, prosecutors said, and they were required to engage in sexual acts with him. He is also accused of having forced some women to maintain slim figures by following a dangerously restrictive diet. It's probably the one meal a day diet, so maybe that one meal every couple of day diet. If convicted, Raniere faces up to life in prison. No, he doesn't need to face up to life. He needs to face life in prison without the possibility of parole. Hell, someone like this actually should get the death penalty if it was up to me. Like, when you think about how long he's been running this organization, for 20 years. Because that's what I say 20 because they caught him last year. And it's been going on since 1998. There's no way in hell, if I was a judge, that I would allow that man to even serve life behind bars. And if I had to, I would make sure that his going away celebration, quote unquote, would be as slow, torturous, and as painful as possible. And I would make sure he would get branded with his own damn brand. And I would brand him on multiple parts of his body, depending on how many victims he had. So say that he had 100 victims, he gets 100 brands. That's just me, though. But you know, I'm not the ruling judge over this, so my say really doesn't have much. But he definitely deserves some of the worst forms of punishment to ever befall before anyone of his quote-unquote caliber. Y'all let me know what y'all think about this down in the comments. This is definitely going to be a story that I'm going to be following because I want to know how this is all going to end. And I will talk to you in the next one.